Hey, momentum makers. I am so excited to get back in the routine of bringing you content. And so I thought we would kick off with some information about the number one problem expressed by the female entrepreneurs who are in this group. And that is time management. And funny enough, that is what I have been making lots of mistakes with too. So I figured we're all in this together with quarantine. Why not bring you some of the top time management mistakes that you're likely making, and Lord knows that I have made a million times over. And so I hope that these are things that you can begin to recognize that maybe you are engaging in totally subconsciously that are blocking you from the success that you're capable of having. So let's get started breaking down what a few of these time management mistakes are. So the first is that you might be denying that you have a time management problem. I see this so often with all of the women in the room that I coach, is they will typically say that there is another issue going on, that they're struggling with getting it all done, or that they're struggling with execution. But really, when we come back to the issue, we realize it's much more of just a time management problem. Now, I've occasionally told myself, if only I have more time, I could have gotten XYZ done. Of course, we can't have more than 24 hours in a day. So why waste our mental energy on this particular issue? Complaining that there's not enough time won't ever actually create more time. I mean, it might make us feel better in that moment, right? But in the long run, it ends up hurting us tremendously. See, complaining about the lack of time ends up preventing us from facing the reality that there's something that's broken. And so let's all try to make a pledge just for the next week that we focus on stop saying that we don't have enough time to complete our commitments or the things that we would like to do. And instead, let's just all admit together that we need to get better at managing our time and start experimenting with some techniques, a few of which I'll talk about today, that will help us reach our goals. Okay, so are we in this together? We all have a time management problem. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can move on to the typical time management mistake number 2, which is neglecting to plan out our day. See, it's important to plan out our day for maximum efficiency. You don't have to know what you're going to do minute by minute. And I hear a lot of people say, well, gosh, I could never live with some kind of strict schedule that plans out my day in 15-minute increments. And no, we're not going to swing the pendulum all the way that far. But we do want to try to set daily goals, including tasks that we'd like to complete by the end of the day. And then we're going to prioritize them in order of importance. So I want you to spend a few minutes in the evening doing a few things that can prep you for the day tomorrow. Review your calendar for the next day. Brace yourself mentally for the things that you need to do the following day. It will save you time in the morning and reduce one of the most common issues that I find entrepreneurs suffer from, which is decision fatigue, right? So whether you use a calendar app or jot down a detailed to-do list, planning out your day gives you structure so that you aren't scrambling constantly to figure out what's next. So reducing decision fatigue the night before by planning out what you're going to do for the very next day and putting that structurally into your day will allow you to feel such freedom. I know that it's completely counterintuitive, right? Putting more structure in creates more freedom, but that's exactly what it does. So I want you to spend a little bit of time tonight, this afternoon, looking forward to the next day and planning out in large blocks, exactly in order of importance, when you're going to get certain tasks complete. That will make you feel so amazing because you will spend less time deciding what to do next. Okay, number 3, we are going to let go of the urgent and focus much more on the important. So distinguishing between urgent and important tasks is really a challenge for a lot of entrepreneurs. And I get that. I face that all the time. So how can you put out a fire when you're on your way to an investor meeting or something like that? Obviously, we're not on our way to anything these days. But the best thing to do is to be able to use something called the Eisenhower Matrix. So this is a way of helping me, I use it often, prioritize my tasks so that I don't let the urgent take over my schedule. So what you're going to do is take all of your tasks and place them into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is to do first. These are the most important responsibilities that need to be done for today or tomorrow. The second quadrant is schedule. These are the tasks that are not urgent. You can schedule them into your calendar, but it can be some point in the future. The third is delegate. If there are essential items that are not important, you can hand them off to someone else. Yes, even in times like this, you can still delegate. Then that needs to be done to be able to free up your calendar to focus on the important tasks. And then the fourth category is don't do. What tasks aren't important or urgent? Delegate these from your list or add them to a would like to do if I ever get a chance list. So again, those 4 quadrants for the Eisenhower Matrix are to do first, schedule, delegate, and don't do. These 4 quadrants are going to allow you to take that ever-growing to-do list, the massive one you might be looking at. I actually saw someone write out a 5-page to-do list the other day on Instagram. Crazy. This is going to allow you to put them in quadrants so that you can begin to move forward, right? Because it's always going to be action that provides the best progress. And we all know that action is the very thing that eliminates doubt. So in order to get you into action, focused on the important things and not just the urgent ones, try this and put this into your planning schedule so that you can begin to make progress on everything that is important and not just urgent. The other thing that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is improper delegation. Now, I know that it's very easy to be an entrepreneur and to be able to pride yourself on being a jack of all trades, but you actually don't need to be involved in every single part of your business. Be aware of what's going on and then check your ego at the door, the proverbial door, obviously, and delegate the right tasks to the appropriate people. If you don't have a staff, then you can absolutely outsource specific jobs to freelancers. They are all over the internet these days. For instance, you can hire a personal assistant, even virtually, that can manage your calendar, email and social accounts, or even a blog for you. They can also take care of different things like recruitment and finding other staff people to be able to assist you, even if they're virtual. So make sure that you're not trying to be the end-all be-all for everything in your business, and incorporate delegation. It is never too early to begin to delegate so that you can elevate your business. Okay, now, the 5th thing that I'm going to share with you is something that took me a while to be able to flex my muscles and get used to, and that is being inflexible, right? No matter how well planned you are going to get interrupted. That's why it's critical that your calendar has some flexibility. See, as an overachiever, I wanted to have everything planned out to a T. I wanted to have it all structured so that if I knew that structure was going to create freedom for me, then I needed to be rigid about sticking to that structure. But again, we know that you're going to get interrupted. So why not make sure that your calendar has a little bit of flexibility so that you can make sure that you plan in some ways for those interruptions. For instance, the other day was going completely according to plan until after lunch, when one of my clients had some issues and needed my attention right away. So I had to stop what I was doing and be able to switch over to support her through that particular crisis. Thankfully, I always leave an open hour after lunch, but I know that that time generally always gets filled. On most days, it's when I check my emails or end up catching up with my team or slip into an important client meeting that came up just like the other day that wasn't scheduled. However, because of this blank space in my calendar on that day, I was able to resolve the matter with the client without having to reschedule other items on my to-do list. So I'm making a point to make sure that I'm creating an opportunity to be flexible when it's necessary. So this isn't something that has to be in your calendar every single day, but it's important to make it a to-do item that can appear in your schedule at some point during the week. That way, you are not being completely inflexible, but you can be flexible throughout the week to deal with the inevitable interruptions that will come up along the way. So, again, just to review, we want to make sure that we're no longer denying that we have a time management problem. When we own it and know it, that gives us the power to be able to fix it. And it'll give us empowerment to be able to make the changes that we want to make and get the progress we want to see in our business. Again, stop neglecting to plan out your day. We're going to begin doing that by spending a little time in the evenings to make that happen. The third is we're going to utilize this Eisenhower Matrix so that we can make sure that the urgent stops taking over the important things that really are going to drive the movement of our business, and most importantly, our revenue. We are going to incorporate some form of delegation where it is either necessary or possible, and making sure that we are not just the jack of all trades in our business, but we are attempting to delegate so that we can create that depth and elevate our business in the way that we want. And then the last is we're going to create space to be flexible rather than inflexible so that we can anticipate those interruptions that inevitably come up along the way. So I hope that these 5 tactics have been really helpful for you. I hope that you are learning something from them. I hope that they will help you maybe recognize a few of the time management things that may have been blocking you from the success that you're capable of having in your business. And I can't wait to hear which one of these you are implementing in your business right now. So I hope you have a great day, momentum makers. I can't wait to continue bringing you more and more content every Wednesday. And then we have some other exciting things planned that are headed your way very soon. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.